Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Illumineers Quest podcast, where we talk everything Lorcana. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jacob.
Thanks for coming on this journey with us.
You
didn't say anything last time, and I was wondering if you're going to. I don't know. I'm getting back to the basics. You know, Deep Trouble is still here, obviously, and will still be fun, but it's not like it's not like one of the most talked about things anymore. So
wow, I didn't notice. Okay, all right.
We still talk about all the things of Lorcana. You know, not just the Deep Trouble co-op version of the game.
Now I'm gonna be sad, dude. All right, well, this isn't a sad episode, so let's...
No, so this is the first weekend of set championships recap. You know, got to talk about how everything's going. Want to see how everybody else did, and so give people a forum to talk about how they did as well. You know, in the comments and in
our local meta is spicy, dude.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to talk about that piece of it.
I do.
I don't want to give people the idea of this though.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
What do you mean?
No, I know. I mean, we're talking about the same thing. I wasn't getting what you were saying.
We're
talking about the same thing.
We got to keep that under wraps. We don't want everybody doing that.
We're not saying that?
We can... Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it.
We're 100% talking about it. We got to talk about it.
Maybe I don't.
I'm talking about it.
I'll cut you off and edit it. And luckily, I edit the video and I edit the episode, so I'll just edit it out.
All right. How do we have to talk about it?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Both of the set championships, two set championships have been won by this thing. We have to talk about it.
No, it's just one.
Two.
One.
Two.
One.
No, it was two, dude.
Who won in Bentonville?
Matthew.
And what was he playing?
That deck.
Emerald Steel?
No.
He was playing Emerald Steel.
He was playing the one we're talking about.
He was playing Emerald Steel.
No, he wasn't, dude.
That's what everybody told me.
No, he was playing... I saw him.
He was playing Under the Sea?
Yeah.
I don't believe that because everybody else told me. Are you positive? Because everybody told me that he was playing Emerald Steel. Okay. Everybody told me.
Then I'll take.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's what everybody told me.
Okay.
So how sure are you?
I mean, I think I was honestly told by the same people.
I don't know. Anyways, long story short, we'll get into it. We're off on a tangent already. We're talking league championships and talking about everything that happened. So we're going to dive right into it. So yeah, as always, thanks for the support. Thanks for the listens, the watches, the follows, everything and all the above. We appreciate everything you guys do. If you do want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is using our TCG Player affiliate link to buy your singles from TCG Player. It's the easiest and best way to help support us. So with that said, let's jump into it. So card of the week.
Card of the week? Is this me?
Yeah.
So we're doing it for challenge, so everything's
this is probably like the last one for the challenges.
Okay.
So we're still doing we're usually do it of the current set, but given the current situation, being in set championships, wanting to just talk about the most relevant cards. So
let's think here. I want to talk about it as a whole, but it has to do with our special topic. But sing-togethers. I think that's my topic for card of the week.
I don't think that works.
It does work because it's Under the Sea is my card.
I mean, you're jumping into it, and I'm trying not to jump into it.
Okay, then you pick a card.
Fine. Under the Sea, the 8-cost uninkable sing-together song that says banish anybody, or not banish, but put all of the characters with 2 strength or less to the bottom of your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
So, Ariel plus the Muses plus Kita equals board clear for your opponent.
True.
It's a lot easier to pull off than you would think.
It is. It honestly is. And it is seriously a one-sided be prepared. Like, if you do it right.
Unless you have Maui / Hercules. Or Maleficent.
I mean, yeah, but...
It still loses to Ruby. Like, I still feel like, Under the Sea loses to Ruby, but Under the Sea is the Emerald version of the New Sisu, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's a one-sided board wipe, which is wild.
And it's a song, so you can play stuff on top of it and get even more out. Wow. It's
nutty.
We'll get into it later, but I preview.
Yes, Under the Sea. So, Yeah, Sing Together. I don't know. I mean, it has to be the best Sing Together song, right? I also think Look at This Family is really good. That one doesn't get talked about much anymore because Amber's just not super viable. But like Pirate's Life, definitely kind of mid. Second Star at the Right, definitely terrible. Mob Song, definitely terrible. I want to hear Tyler's opinion on Second Star at the Right because he would not be quiet about that one the first week and a half, and I haven't heard him say anything about it since. So I need to bring that one back up at some point. Yeah, I definitely see the value of now that it's been possible to be played for a couple weeks now, or couple months now. Those Sing Togethers, I can really start to understand better how they fit into the decks. And
they
got
to be careful with how they play them though, with how they make them, because if it's a super OP ability, they could be running rampant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why they cost so much. I mean, I think all of them do have like an OP-ness to them, but that's why they cost 8 and above. I mean, I guess technically Pirate's Life is 6, but that one's the less OP of them all. Anyways, yeah, that's a good one because I don't think we've ever really like gave a platform to Under the Sea or a Sing Together song.
I wanted to kind of put them all in one.
Spicy. Okay, so news, what's on our mind, league recap, any all the above. I mean, this probably comes out right after Dallas, so we don't have any Dallas/Fort Worth updates, but
I won Dallas.
I hope that comes into existence. I mean, if you just say that, like, and this comes, you say that before it comes out after, people won't believe that we recorded this after. Or recorded this before, I mean. Dallas is obviously the biggest thing on my mind. I mean, we've still got one more set championship weekend before the DLC. But at this point, it's basically just prep games, practice for the DLC because I want a Cinderella Stout-Hearted and I want a Rapunzel Gifted with Healing very, very badly. I
mean, it's kind of sick that, I mean, for us specifically, because Fort Worth, I mean, for me, is most likely the only challenge I'll go to unless something pops up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this month is competition month. Yeah. This is full on, we need to bring something home. So this month has been game on.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about the DLC is they changed the pricing structure from when I was in Atlanta, and you basically was impossible to get tickets for the prize wall. Now if you get 30 points, you get 20 tickets or 30 tickets from the prize wall, and so that'll get you the non-foil versions of Cinderella and Rapunzel, and those are both still worth a pretty good penny too.
Nice.
And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that the long grind of the main event is going to have some sort of pay or prize wall payoff, even if we're not able to make top cut. But I have that Let It Go and Cinderella Stout-Hearted in my sights, just ready to pounce.
I mean, I'm fortunate because that area, Dallas Fort Worth, we could go up there for a nice vacation. So hopefully, if stuff doesn't go well, we can do a little something to
There'll be side events, and maybe if we just both burn out super early on Saturday, then we just play like a Sunday set championship, like in Fort Worth somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but going into the main topic, but not really. I was pretty bummed out with the result. We'll say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess let's just jump into it because that's obviously what we need to talk about. And that's mainly what's on our mind is continuing that. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
No, you can lay the format.
I guess you only went to one. So I guess, yeah, it's a good for two to start that way because not spoiler necessarily, but you only went to one. You weren't able to go Saturday. I went to two, so I did go Saturday and Sunday. So I have a little bit more to talk about just from that regard. So the first one I went to on Saturday was like an hour away, and they didn't get their stuff. I guess it was Ravensburger, the Lorcana, social accounts talked about how the 4th was impacting their ability for some stores to get their stuff. And the store that I went to did not get their stuff in time. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of a bummer on the day of. But that being said, myself, Michael, and James, 3 of the inner circle. We got to come up with a better name than the inner circle.
I love the inner circle.
I mean, I like the inner circle, but that's just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there could be something more like funny / I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of.
How many of us are there?
I don't know, 5 or 6. 6.
6 dwarves.
The hexagon. Yeah, 3 of the hexagons. 3 sides of the hexagon came with us. No, so it was
the inner hexagon. Michael,
myself, and James started off by each getting a chapter 1 box, so that was exciting. The store had, I don't know, 6 of them probably, and we walked in to register and nobody noticed. Like, I was the first person that noticed. They were sitting on the shelf with the rest of the product, but nobody noticed. And so I was like, ooh, Michael, what's up? What's up? And so I grabbed a box. He grabbed a box, and then James grabbed a box, and then there was 1 more left, and then somebody else grabbed it, and they put 2 more out there, and then they were instantly gone. And so I don't know, like, what would have happened had I not realized it. We might have missed it because, like, half the people that played in the championship, like, they were gone before they even got there. And so I'm glad we got there when we did, and I'm glad we were lucky enough to pick one up. It was a fantastic store. Like, it was genuinely like one of the better tournaments that I've been to. It ran really well. Everybody there was super nice. Everybody there was like very organized about everything, and so it ran very smoothly and all really cool. They talked about the prizes not being there, and we're all really cool about the openness about when we could come back and get them, and letting us, any of the people that made the top 4, when they could come back and get the prizes and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, for that respect, it was really cool and really good. Well, we won't go through every round. Obviously, I don't want this to be just like a mundane rehashing of everything that happened, but, I did not lose in Swiss. I took Ruby Sapphire on Saturday, beat 2 Ruby Amethyst decks in Swiss, and was very lucky to beat both of them. One was like skin of my teeth, 11 lore, dime, last turn with Tamatoa to close it out. So that was like definitely one of the highlights of the day, because my heart was actually pounding out of my chest. Like, it was a very insane finish. So went 401 in the Swiss. Got the second. I tied for first. There were 2 people undefeated going into the final round. We decided to ID. He ended up having better opponent win percentages, and so he ended up with the first. But that actually helped me out, because the first couple matchups that I had getting to the finals, spoiler alert, was much more favorable than had I gone onto the other side of the bracket. And so, shout out James. I don't even know if you heard this or not, but shout out James. A little bit of friendly fire in the top 8.
I saw that. That was sad.
A little bit of friendly fire in the top 8. So James and I did go into the battle of the 2 sides of the hexagon in the top 8. He was playing Emerald Steel. I was playing Ruby Sapphire, like I said. Both games, I just had Popsicle Flav 1 jump. And, I got to Flav and Drew before he could really do anything with it. And so that's, unfortunately how that matchup kind of goes. And then got to obviously like Medusa, Sisu range, and then from there it's kind of just accelerating to the finish line. So I don't remember the exact games. I remember they went relatively quickly. I don't think he misplayed anything. I think it was literally just I got to go first in the first game because I was the 2nd seed overall.
Your deck did what it needed to do. Yeah.
And I found the cards I needed. When you have Pop 1 jump, Flaversham, it's really hard for Bucky to get going. So that one was unfortunate, a little bit of friendly fire. Second round was a really fun.
Not the only friendly fire of that weekend.
No, there was a lot of that, unfortunately. Next round was a really like cool challenger Ruby Steel deck. I don't know if you knew this one or not. So Ruby Steel. The first game was relative. I can't remember which games it were, but first game was relatively close, I think. Dime helped me pull it out. Second game, opponent had no card draw and had to use a whole new world, and at that point that one was pretty much over because I refilled my hand and just kind of used all my removal to keep the board clean and kind of accelerate from there. Then going into the finals, this one was a really quick one as well. Unfortunately, quick in the other way. I was going into a Ruby Sapphire matchup. or not Ruby Sapphire, Ruby Amethyst matchup, and this deck was tooled to beat the Ruby Sapphire match, like that was initially came about to beat Flynn Sisu Castle. Game over. That's essentially what it was. Flynn Sisu Castle, B King undisputed. Game over. Dunzo. Seriously done in probably 10 minutes. I don't know. I mean, it was a quick one. But I got second. So first set championship, got a mat and a card. My set championships are complete because I got what I needed. So yeah, I mean, hey, did you heard all that? Did you know everything essentially that happened? Michael, I guess I should say too, Inner Circle, Hexagon side number 3 was 3-2 and got bumped on tiebreakers, unfortunately. So him and James going into top 8 were both 3-2. James was lucky, and he was the 3-2 that had the best tiebreakers that went on to make the top 8.
Nice.
Trying to think if there's anything else like noteworthy. There were a lot of cool decks there, I will say. I played a lemon lime aggro deck that I was really, really lucky to beat out in the Swiss rounds. There was a cool princess amber sapphire deck. I didn't play against them, but from what I saw, it was a pretty cool one. Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see some other like just crazy kind of stuff that you didn't expect to be played.
I mean, that's one of the best parts about playing these local, because obviously I'm expecting at least during challenge I'll play just the most meta, top 4, top 5 decks. Not really seeing much else. Yeah,
I mean that's obviously the competitive environment that you're in at that point, so that's what you'd mainly expect. But
the set championships is a lot more open. Maybe some stuff, is able to scoot by.
Yeah, depending on the matchups. I mean, I think last time there was a Pirates deck that made top 8 in one of the ones we went to, which was crazy to see, because it was very off meta, but it was able to squeak in. But yeah, so that takes us to Sunday. So I guess the last thing on that point is, so I hadn't even seen the card. I won the card and then won the mat and hadn't even seen either of them.
Wow.
Because they didn't have them, and so it was a little bit of a weird scenario where I wanted to be able to at least like take it home with me, but couldn't do it because didn't get those till Tuesday, which you missed out on as well because you weren't at league, and so they came. One of the people that are in our local community that went up there as well that made top 4 went to go get their stuff and grabbed mine for me, and so they dropped it off at league and missed out. But yeah, so moving on to Sunday, this was a big one. So our Saturday there was 19 people, I think 19 people, and Sunday there was 37.
The competition was stacked. I mean,
it was a big one. There was like 37 people.
I think Sunday was the best preparation I'm gonna get, at least for Fort Worth.
For Fort Worth. Yeah, I think that Sunday is going to be the most competitive set championship that we'll go to. I could be wrong. I mean, I might have another one that's going to be just competitive, but it's just based on the numbers and what I'm looking at and the other ones I'm scheduled for, that will be the biggest and hardest one for sure. Mm-hmm. So all 6 sides of the hexagon were there.
All of them, yeah. And I mean, even like it was.
And I think we all did pretty well. I mean, I think overall, all of us did. I think Michael will disagree. I think Michael will be... I think he will definitely, once he hears this and say, I think we all did pretty well, he'll definitely say, no, I didn't. I did terrible. But yeah, I mean, I think given the matchups and everything and where we all ended up, I think the majority of us... I should say the majority. I'll just say the majority because I know James had a hard time on some of his matchups too, but... There were a lot of us, leave it at that were vying for the top cut.
We can name drop them.
What, me, you, Seth, and Tyler made a run towards the end too, right?
He was really close.
Yeah, Tyler made a run towards the end.
Tyler's my brother, by the way.
So yeah, me, you, Tyler, Seth, we're all in the thick of it, trying to make a run for the top cut. A lot of friendly fire, unfortunately, as you said. I think as we talking overviews for how many people did you play? Did you just play me? Mm-hmm. That was it.
Yeah.
Tyler and how many did Tyler play?
Tyler played Michael and Seth.
Okay, I thought he played James, but
he might have. Oh, he did. He did, didn't he?
I think he played James and Michael.
He played Seth. His final game with Seth.
He played 3?
Yeah.
If that's correct, which it very well could be, that's a lot of friendly fire. I played Michael and you, so I played 2 of them. I'm pretty sure Seth played James and Tyler. Then I don't know. I mean, I know that he was. I think he played. So, anyways, this is the biggest one we're gonna have gone to, and this is the most we've all played each other. So that's wild from that regard.
It honestly, like it ever since, like, after I played you, the day it kind of sucked, to be honest. Like, it was kind of all a sad slope from there for me.
It was it last round, or it was
yeah,
so it was round 5. So I played Michael, so I won round 1 and 2, played Michael round 3, who also won round 1 and 2. I won against Michael, and then unfortunately that's when Michael's day started to turn, and I think he lost the next 2 and then called it a day after that. But yeah, so I was 3-0 at that point. I was 3-1 going up against you. You were 3-1 as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you had a really solid day up until that point too, and then unfortunately for you, I hate to say it like that, but I didn't say this in the beginning. I switched to Sapphire Steel because I played Ruby Amethyst in 3 of the 7 rounds the day before, and so I was like, I'm not going to be able to beat that many Ruby Sapphires again, or Ruby Amethysts again. And I knew that it was going to be a lot of the same people, and you had a good your brother had a good representation of Ruby Amethyst in the set championship that he went to on Saturday. And so I just knew that I was probably going to run into it quite a bit again, and so I didn't want to take the chance on the Ruby version. So yeah, I switched to Sapphire Steel, which is known for having the most card draw of any deck, and going into that with Emerald Steel is just an uphill battle.
Yeah, I mean it was rough. I got 2-0'd pretty handily. Was what it was.
Yeah, so I then was 4-1. ID'd round 5 to make top cut again.
I know, that was good. I mean, quick shout out. Like, we all did really well for the most part, but you were the only one of the inner circle to make top cut.
There were a lot of people from or I shouldn't say a lot. I think there were 3 or 4 from the community that's like an hour south of us. And last time they I would say they outperformed us a little bit in the last set championships. I don't think any of them made the top cut this time. So round 1 this time was somebody from that community an hour south that won on Saturday. And I 2-0'd him, luckily. He was playing a different deck. It was the guy that I think was, from what I heard, was playing Emerald Steel.
He was playing Sapphire Steel.
He was playing Ruby Sapphire.
Ruby Sapphire, yeah.
And he was playing like the Queen Items version of it. And so, he wasn't playing the most meta thing ever. He had a little bit of bad draws, and so I feel like I had a lot of opportunity to take it home, and I did. But yeah, so another top cut, ended 5th this time because I did lose one to an Under the Sea deck, which I'm trying not to spread a bunch of. I guess when this comes out, I guess it's after Dallas, so let's talk about it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I was trying to be coy at first, but this is coming out after Fort Worth. So there were 2 people playing Ariel / Emerald Under the Sea decks, and they spoiler alert, one of them won, but they both made top cut and cleaned up.
I mean, it's one of the coolest decks I've ever seen.
They both said I was talking to a couple people before we started, and everybody around me said that's the most annoying deck to play, bar none. Bucky doesn't even come close. And I kind of scoffed at first, but turns out they were right.
They were right.
Did you play one? You did play one, didn't you?
I got 2-0'd by Cody.
Yeah, who was playing
Who's
Ariel
also
Under the Sea.
Probably top 2, maybe best player in our community.
Yeah, I would put him up there on the podium for sure. Yeah, it's a annoying deck for sure. So it's basically like Sir Hiss for like an evasive quester on turn 2, turn 3 Ariel to pull some sort of song, turn 4 to play the Muses and sing something and bounce one of your characters because the Muses bounces anything with 2 strength or less back to your hand. And so yeah, it's basically about keeping the board clear until they can key to Under the Sea, and then they just quest out a bunch. And so without a Ruby counter that is an unconditional board wipe like Be Prepared, it's really hard to get a board presence because everything you play just kind of gets bounced.
Yep. I mean, so here's the thing. I might play that at Fort Worth.
Do you know how hard that is to play?
I do. But I think it gives me... So, I understand. But I think that I don't have a shot in all the field of everything else with playing my Bucky. I think I have the best shot with that.
After all the talk of how overperforming Emerald Steel is.
That's its worst matchup. I mean, it destroys Emerald Steel.
So you think that's a better matchup into Emerald Steel than Sapphire Steel?
I think they're even.
Well, anyway, so there were 2 players that made top cut playing Under the Sea.
Top 4, right? Did they both make top 4?
Cody didn't make top 4.
Cody didn't make top 4?
No.
Nuts.
It's so the reason I would say don't do that is because its worst nightmare is Ruby Amethyst because it can't deal with locations at all.
True.
It has everything it play unless it gets to Cricky, and Cricky helps, but I think they were both only playing 2 Crickies, and so that's not something reliable enough to play or to count on to help you deal with locations. And so if you play Flynn Sisu Castle, even if you're able to bounce some of the stuff, you have to deal, it's dealing with the threat every single turn like you have to, and Ruby Amethyst can deal with the threats better than they can, the Under the Sea deck can, because they can't deal with Castle at all. You'd have to... Sir Hiss can help, obviously, but you'd have to Sir Hiss, Ariel, and the Muses, and if the Muses die, then your whole plan falls apart, and so you can't hit the Castle with the Muses. And so you're sitting here Sir Hissing the thing over and over to try to kill it, and by the time you do that, you play another threat, or clear the Sir Hiss, or clear something else, or be prepared, and then from there I think it's over. And so being one of the most represented decks, that's what would make me scared of playing that, at least. But
the reason I said it's strong enough to it's making me consider it.
Yeah, well, that's fair. So anyways, the decision to... So I avoided Ruby Amethyst all day long. All the Swiss rounds I didn't play it, and I'm thinking to myself, of course, I go on to something I'm not quite as comfortable on, and then I dodge the matchup all day. But top 8, Ruby Amethyst. So turns out I was very happy that I played Sapphire Steel, because then I could deal with locations a lot better. And on top of locations, I could deal with Be King a lot better, which honestly is more annoying to me as a Ruby player than the locations are, because the Ruby Sapphire deck, you've got Tamatoa and Medusa and Big Sisu and all those big end cards that deal a lot of pressure, but you're basically playing one thing a turn. And so if you can't keep your board clear, or you can't keep other like lower cost stuff on your board to be fodder for Be King, then you're in trouble. And Be Prepared obviously takes care of all those little things, and so it's really hard to play into that matchup. And so yeah, I played Sapphire Steel, and I won 2-1.
Nice.
So I made it to top 4 again. I will say the second game I have to talk about a little bit, because I don't know if I told you this or not, because you had just left at this point. But game 1 I lost. He had the Sisu, the baby Sisu down, and it just kept questing. I had nothing that could deal with it. The 4 health was just too much. He used Be King on my Argus, and at the time I thought it was a terrible play. I looked up like 4 turns later, and he had like 16 lore, and I was like, I don't know how you got there, but it's just game over clearly. Game 2, I was able to keep things on the board, but I had 0 card draw the entire game. Like actually no Hiram, no Whole New World, nothing the entire game. But I was able to get a lot of like chip lore out with Smee and a few other questers here and there to get to 18. And on my last turn, I drew a Whole New World. I had 8 ink, 1 card in hand, and it was inkable. So I inked it to 9 ink, played a Whole New World, and I guess I should say I had Dime on board. So I was able to get Dime on board, so I obviously got a lot of chip from the Dime from here and there as well. So Dime on board, Whole New World for 5, 4 ink left, found a Smee, played the Smee for 2, Dime for 2, game over.
Wow.
I don't want to say the luckiest thing of all time, but it was definitely like one of those, because I had set myself up to be in that position. I knew I had to get the Dime down because I didn't have any card draw, and so I just took the turn to play the Dime to get it down to be able to then quest after that, because I just had to be able to keep getting chip lore. So I put myself into the position to do that, but obviously finding the SME off of the wheel was like cream of the crop because you could tell that was very defeating to the opponent.
Man.
And then game 3, I had Mickey, Detective, and Argus on board to hold up the B Kings. One of the turns he B Kinged twice and basically took out the fodder that I just kept on the board to keep the important stuff from being able to be targeted. And I ran away with it. Like that one wasn't close because I was able to keep those on board. I inked. I ramped a ton. I got a whole new world off. I did the Sapphire stuff and won. So got top 4, and without going into crazy detail on this one too, I ran into an under the sea deck and just got obliterated. Well, I say obliterated. I was at 19 on game 1, and had I been able to find a Tamatoa at any point in the game, I probably would have won. But yeah, under the sea, like I just was not prepared for that matchup. I'd never played against it like ever at all, so I had no idea how to really tackle the situation. By the end of the match, I started to feel a little bit more confident in it, and going into this weekend's games, I imagine I'll probably see it again because I think both of the players are going to be on it and playing. So there's a very strong chance that it happens again. But I feel a lot more confident knowing how to play against it, not get caught off guard like I did last weekend. So yeah, I made another top 4 run, got 2 cards, got a mat, and weekend 1. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, you're doing good, man.
We gotta get the rest of you guys some stuff now. God. How many more are you playing? I know you're playing on Saturday. Are you doing anything Sunday?
No, I have another commitment on Sunday that I need to do.
And then we're out next weekend because of the challenge, and then the weekend following is Final Boss and Fort Smith. You're not going Final Boss?
No, I probably will.
Okay.
Probably will.
I think that one could be relatively competitive too. The one thing that might keep that I think all of our local community will be at that one. We've been split a few different ways here and there. That one could almost be as big as the one we went to Sunday, because I say almost because there's another one like an hour and a half south of us that I think some of the players that are south of us will go to that one instead. But I think everybody here will be at that one too. So that'll be a pretty big one after we get back from the DLC.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's competition month.
Gotta get your card. Gotta get you a card.
Gotta get me a mat. I'm gonna put it out there. I gotta get a mat, dude.
You and James both. James, I know, wants a mat way worse than a card.
I do too.
So, it is a sick mat. I like the Stitch one better because I'm not a villain sympathizer like you. But it is a nice mat. So, like, what were your overall takeaways from just like the games and the meta and the matches, and like what did you learn to do differently or to try to improve on for this weekend?
I don't know. I think the biggest thing that I maybe messed up on once or twice is take it slow. So that my first game, I did a misplay, and from there on out, I learned, okay, just think about it slower, calm down. You can do your deep breaths. No one's gonna make fun of you for it. They might, but who cares?
That's a really good tip too. I think we've talked about that before, but just in general, like going too fast and making mistakes is never the answer. Like, make sure you've thought out all of the different things of the turn before you play. There's no reason not to.
So yeah, and from there on out, it was good. I still 2-0'd that first game, so it worked out anyways. But I learned quick that, okay, take your time, which I learned from, you gotta reteach yourself after even though same thing applies to last chance.
It's been a long time. It's been a while. Those competitive juices like flowing again is so much fun. Like I just love competing. Like I was so nervous the first time Saturday. I was so nervous. But quickly, got into the rhythm and settled down. But just so exciting to be able to compete. Like that's why I love this so much, is because I'm just such a competitive person, and having an outlet to compete in is really fun.
It is. It's exciting. I guess we'll talk about my games real quick. On Sunday, I almost made top 8. Almost.
Yeah.
me and my final opponent played for basically the final top 8 spot.
That's right.
Which Michael invited him to that event. So we had
that is true.
We had a discussion afterwards about that.
I forgot about that.
But yeah, I was pretty bummed out for the rest of that day, but I was all right. Woke up, good to go. Started planning for next time. But yeah, I mean, overall, great experience. Tomorrow we got one, so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, we're going. I think we'll all be in the same place tomorrow, so it'll
Nice.
be a good time. Although right now it's kind of a lowish turnout, and so hopefully we get a couple more and get a five game cut. But I don't, I think this is the one that Michael won last time, and had when we're about at the same attendance that we were on that one. So hopefully we at least get over the. Oh wow! I just looked. There's a lot of people that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and I'm not on that list either. So I think we'll be at like 25-ish.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be a big one tomorrow too. I don't really recognize many of these names though, so I don't know who all will be there. But yeah, so we've got a couple. I'm going to that one tomorrow, and then I got another one Sunday. That's a little bit further away. There's only like 2 that are on that Sunday, and both of them are like really far away. So there's not many. I don't think there's a ton of local people that are going to anyone Sunday. But yeah, I'm grinding because I'm trying to get ready for the DLC. The last tip I will give on this front is if you don't have anybody playing Ruby Amethyst in your area, play Ruby Sapphire. If you do have people playing Ruby Amethyst in your area, don't play Ruby Sapphire. I'm obviously a fan of the ramp decks. I love the Sapphire stuff, so that's kind of why I'm on Sapphire Steel. I think it has, my confidence level with the deck, it has the best matchup spread across all the different meta decks currently. So that's why I'm on that one. But yeah, I think that it's, like we said when we started, I want to hear how many other people from the community got Ursulas and Ursula Mats and how many other set champions we have. Still going for the win. Got to get a win. That's the goal now. But yeah, just the competing and the practice for Dallas I don't know if at this point I'm not going to get in the habit of saying Fort Worth and it's going to be over, so it doesn't matter. But for Fort Worth, and yeah, I guess if you're going to Fort Worth, everybody in the inner circle will be there. So I don't know how you'll find us, but we'll be there.
I know we're making shirts for at least me and Tyler, so.
I did not know, or I think I did know that, but.
If you need a shirt, we'll get you.
You're saying inner circle though, aren't you? You're putting inner circle on
it. It'll be both.
Okay.
Podcast and inner circle.
So find Jake/Tyler with the Illumineers Quest shirts on and come say hi.
And then we can go scare Zach and find him.
I'll probably be on like table 1 up there in the corner.
Oh yeah, well then we'll just kick your chair from under you.
That would not be nice. Okay, I think that covers it for today. Yeah, good luck to everybody in the last of the set championships that you guys attend. Wish the best for everybody and hope they get cards and play mats. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
All right, thank you guys for listening.